Hi, it's Janelle with Parsnips and Parsimony. Today I wanted to come on and have a little chat with you guys about my pregnancy. If you're here, you've probably seen our pregnancy announcement that we made a few weeks ago, and just wanted to kind of cue you in on what the first trimester was like for me, what symptoms I'm exhibiting right now, and what I'm looking forward to this fall. Now, I'm ecstatic. Art is ecstatic about another baby. We are looking forward to another baby and what the future may bring, whatever that may be, whether this is our last one or whether it's not. We are completely open to that. So once I found out I was pregnant, I had been doing trying some different vitamins just because I really felt like hormonally I was really all over the place, which is not totally uncommon for me to have like highs and lows hormonally. Just felt like my cycles weren't really returning back to normal like they should have been. Again, taking that with a grain of salt because I am aging and I have a family history of early menopause. So, what happened. But I ended up trying something new. I'm sure many of you are familiar with plexus. So I started the plexus about a month and a half, 2 months before I found out I was expecting this baby. And for those of you who aren't familiar with plexus, it's really based on gut microbes, your probiotics, your prebiotics, and keeping your blood sugars level. Now, I already eat a moderately low carb lifestyle, but not always. Generally that's my frame of mind, and I totally agree with keeping blood sugars on an even keel and taking care of your gut. I've been on probiotics in the past, and that was what started that whole journey with improving my asthma after my grandma died and that whole story. I think I have a video all on that. I can put in the description below if you want to watch that whole story. So I really felt like I just needed to take it to the next level. I felt like I was losing some nutrients and wasn't where I wanted to be. So I tried the plexus, and it seemed to help tremendously. Because when I found out I was pregnant, I was kind of dreading that whole nausea. Because when I'm pregnant, my nausea is, I don't vomit, but I have all day nausea. And for those of you who suffer with all day nausea, it's debilitating. It's really hard to get up every day and to function with it because you feel sick at night, you feel sick in the morning, and you don't feel like eating, but because you don't eat, then you get weaker, and then you feel even worse, and it's just really a perfect storm. And so I had been taking the plexus vitamins, and I was gearing up for not feeling well, and 6 weeks comes, and I was still okay, and 7 weeks comes, and I'm like, okay, when is it gonna hit? And I really never had that full-on nausea. I had a little bit of nausea at night, and it was more, I like to call it exhaustion nausea, and that's where you're really, really tired, and you're so tired that you feel nauseous. And the cure for it is just go to sleep. If you can go to sleep, the nausea goes away, and you feel great the next day. So I had a little bit of that, but nothing. I rarely used my C-bands. Really felt really, really well. And it wasn't until I snagged the virus that Art had, which was the strangest virus, sore throat for a full week, followed by a full week of just debilitating exhaustion. And it was really hard to decide, was this a virus or was it pregnancy, or were the two kind of like a perfect storm? But that really, really threw me for a loop because I had felt so well. I think I ended up getting that around 9 or 10 weeks pregnant, and I had felt so good up until that point, and I'm like, oh, this is not how I want it to be. So then after we got through those 2-week period, I was not the most consistent with my vitamins because I was feeling really awful, and I think that really played a toll in how I was feeling. I finally start feeling better, and that's when I actually pulled my back out. So my L5, if you watched our daily vlog, my L5 pretty much dislocated, nicked my spine, and I had numbness, tingling in my legs, and had a lot of issues with my back. It's been 4 weeks since then, and I'm finally off of the no lifting. However, I have to be very careful, and that just put like everything behind. So when I look at the first trimester and the whole pregnancy wise, it was really good. It was probably one of my best pregnancies so far. But when I look at my physical health between the virus and then pulling out my back, that was awful. So, you know, did one cause the other? I don't think the pregnancy, and in fact when I spoke to my chiropractor, she goes, you know, the pregnancy really didn't do anything to your back. It's just the way you twisted and bent and you finally popped it out. She does think part of the reason that I recovered as quickly as I did was because several months ago, right after I had Lillian, I did a sponsorship with the Tummy Team, working on my core strength and regaining my core strength. And she said she thinks that's what really actually saved my back from totally blowing out. So I'm happy to report I'm at 15 weeks right now, and today is the first day that I am feeling really, really good again. I'm back on my vitamin again. I do think how I feel totally goes hand in hand with when I'm being consistent with my vitamins. Also, in the last 9 days, I've been consistently waking up in the morning before everyone else does, and I'm walking for 30 minutes. And this was at the recommendation of my chiropractor. My back, even though it has pretty well fully recovered, I am still at a risk for a back injury just because my muscles are not going to return to normal at this point. My belly's starting to grow a bit, and so instead of my muscles being able to stay nice and taut and healed, they're going to start getting pulled. And she said, you know, Janelle, you're just going to have to deal with this for another 9 months. And she goes, we'll bring you back in as necessary, and then after you have the baby, we'll get you straightened out and we can really work on that core strength, regaining that, and hopefully getting rid of your back problem altogether. But at her recommendation, she did suggest walking every single day. And I realized that's a priority I need to make right now because I want to stay strong and healthy for my other children. I want to stay strong and healthy for my husband. And in order to do that, I need to take those 30 minutes of walking. And that's what I've been doing. And it does seem like it helps me get moving in the day. I have had very little pain the last week, which I am so thankful for, considering when my L5 was out, I was on about a 9 or 10 pain scale, which you guys know, I birth my babies at home. I don't have epidurals. I have a very high pain tolerance, but that was a very painful experience. So the walking in the morning, the only way I really could find it in our schedule is for me to get up before everyone else to get my walk in. And that has been a wonderful thing the last 9 or 10 days. I'm just getting up and just getting out there, and I've really, really enjoyed it. And I'm hoping I'll be able to continue that for most of the pregnancy. I'm not sure how winter will happen, because with winter, particularly when your belly is quite large, I don't want to slip and fall because of risks to the placenta, to the baby, and preterm labor. And I'm always... if you've watched my other baby videos, you guys know that I tend to have an irritable uterus who just does not like to cooperate. I wouldn't say I go into preterm labor because I never have any issues with early dilation or anything like that, but I just have a very irritable uterus, and that could in theory turn into preterm labor. So I'm always very careful, particularly when I'm pregnant in the wintertime, to take care of myself and not go out if it's slippery. So that's a little bit about the first trimester. I had a question on my Facebook page on how do I manage to get everything done when you're sick and you're pregnant and all of that. And, you know, this pregnancy I have not had to deal with that as much per se. I think the main thing that I focus on every day, today's being a deception, I usually take a nap every day. And that does eat into my day because I usually get a lot of my work done in the afternoon when the younger girls are taking their naps. But for, I would say, all of my pregnancies except for Charity, I have consistently taken naps in the afternoon because for my mental health and well-being and physical health and well-being, I found it was really essential to get that nap in so I could stay that happy and cheerful mom for the kids. the kids have grown up with that. They know that in the afternoon, they usually have their quiet time now. Charity, John, Peter, and Lydia, they don't take naps, but they do have their quiet time where they can read their books, they can do some of their homework, and it's for about an hour, hour and a half is just enough for me to actually recharge. And that's, I would say, is key to me functioning every day, is making sure I get that nap. In the morning, when I get up, I try to make sure the kids have some normalcy, even if I'm not feeling all that well. So they have something to do, either puzzles, Play-Dohs, schoolwork. We have done a little bit more screen time than we normally do over the last 3 months, just because it is more difficult to try to keep on top of everything. And those are battles that you choose as a mom. You choose which battles you want to fight. And I am using the convenience of screen time right now in limited ways to just help ease us into this transition time. You know, and I think one thing that has suffered a lot is this YouTube channel, just because it does take a lot of time and effort to film. And if, you know, I would like to say that I have it all together, and every morning I get up and I look beautiful, and I do my hair and I look nice, and I have my earrings and all my makeup, but you know what, that's not reality. A lot of mornings I do make it a practice to get dressed and showered every single day. I have done that since the time I was married. I don't stay in bed unless I'm like deathly ill. I get dressed and at least get my day going. I may later on crash on the couch, which is a very real thing, but at least I'm dressed and I can feel like if I have the energy, I'm ready for my day. And so I think that helps for the kids to know that, okay, mom is still here, mom's still in charge. And you know, some days are not easy. In fact, a lot of days are not easy because we have a lot of changes. The kids know that we're going to be expecting another little one in the home, and you know, they have their own insecurities, and they still need to have their mom there, and those are things that I still need to be there even when I'm not feeling well. So we do reading on the couch. The 3 smaller children love sitting on my lap reading, so we get some good reading time in. And you know, I think the main thing is give yourself a lot of grace, because this is a very short time in your life where you're going to be able to create life and nurture a life. And some days you do wonder if you're doing the right thing, being able to, if you're showing them enough love and care. And I mean, I think any mom has those insecurities, and I'm not an exception. I love my children, and I have a peace knowing that every single day is a new day. And if I was short-tempered or just not that happy mommy that I really want to be for my kids on the day before, I know that the next day is a brand new day, and I can start all over again. And it's kind of like a fresh do-over, or a new Year's Day resolution. You can try all over again. And you know, I do fail. I fail a lot, but I know that each and every day is new. So what are we anticipating what the fall is looking like? I haven't seen my midwife yet. However, I do go and see her in a couple weeks now. Some of you may be a little bit aghast that I'm 15 weeks so far. I haven't seen my midwife. My midwife and I have a wonderful friendship and if you want to call it a working relationship. And so as soon as I found out I was pregnant, she of course was the first one to find, and then she was the first one to find out. I am able to contact her pretty much 24/7 via text, phone, Facebook, Messenger, whatever I need. And that is a real blessing to me. She also knows that this is number 8. This isn't my first rodeo, and being in the medical profession and babies being my passion, she's very, very comfortable just letting these early stages of pregnancy just run their course. You know, if a miscarriage is going to happen, there's really not a whole lot that you can do about it in a lot of cases, not all the cases. So she, you know, I've been in contact with her when I pulled my back out. when I've had a headache or something like that, I've messaged her and say, you know, this is what's going on, and you know, I tell her what my blood pressure is and my pulse and what I'm eating, and so we really have almost like this virtual healthcare system going on between the two of us. It works very, very well. Obviously, I will start seeing her more regularly once I get to at least to that 20-week mark. But right now, we've just pretty much let the first trimester go, and she's been comfortable with that. I am very comfortable with that, and we'll see how those appointments start going up. So I don't have any footage of hearing a heartbeat, anything like that. I think I felt some movement at times, but I really can't pinpoint it and say, oh, that was definitely, it hasn't been consistent. So whatever the case, it may or may not have been a baby moving, but that's what I have experienced. And we have an exciting fall planned. Art and I are going away for the first time alone to the Bahamas. Through 31, I was able to earn an all-expense paid trip to the Bahamas. And Art and I really hemmed and hawed for a long time whether or not we wanted to go, whether we wanted to leave the kids behind, you know, who would care for them, and was this a good time to do this? And we have decided we're going to give it a go. I have never been a traveler, but we got our passports and we are going to go to the Bahamas. It may be the first and the last time, but we're going to give it a shot. I want to make sure I'm cleared with my midwife to make sure everything looks good before then. So we'll get that taken care of. We also are anticipating some company from Art's side of the family over the next couple months. So that's going to be a more busy time this fall. And also my garden is currently producing, and I suspect over the next 4 weeks it's going to be crazy trying to keep up with the produce. So all wonderful things. It just makes for a busy time of year, which is very normal. I'm sure most of you who are watching this, you're not new to our channel. You know that this is Art's very busy time of year, and we just roll with it. You know, we do the best we can with the house, and this year's been a really successful year with all the projects we've accomplished, and I hope it doesn't stop at this point. But again, we're giving ourselves a lot of grace because, you know, our life is changing again, and we're so excited about it. But we need to be able to focus on our priorities. So I think I've blabbered on long enough, but I wanted to give you guys kind of the heads up of what's happened the first trimester. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Please subscribe to us and just hang out for the ride, because the next 6 months are going to be an interesting journey. If you're new, you may not know that I've done 4 home births, and this is another planned home birth, not unassisted. This is going to be an assisted home birth with my midwife, and I've done videos about my thoughts on home birth and hospital birth. You're welcome to browse the channel and watch those in the past. Nothing has changed there, but I want to thank each and every one of you for being on here. I appreciate all of your kind comments, your congratulations. And we're really looking forward to a new baby in our house sometime in the beginning of next year. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you for our next video.